I got to draw a picture.
You got paper to draw on?
Yes.
All right, we are live, I think.
Okay, we'll get at it. Ladies, we need to state the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Benton County Supervisors,
And good morning.
good morning. We just did the pledge, so we are live.
Okay. Okay, good.
Motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve the minutes from Beershank. Can you hear me,
Can you
Rick?
hear Rick?
Bring this all the way across the.
Barely here.
Here, I'm gonna move the phone.
Okay. I thought.
All right, thank you. We got a motion from Gary to approve the minutes.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 2 minutes here, what else can we do real quick? Nothing really real quick. Well, Sue, can we get at some of yours early?
Sure. The first one is, we had tabled the holiday schedule from a November meeting. You asked to discuss it at this one as far as what we want to do for the holiday. The state has the 26th off. Some other counties have the 22nd. And so, again, the handbook says if Christmas Eve falls on a Monday through Friday, it's a half day. Sorry, Christmas is supposed to be a half day that falls on Monday through Friday. So the question is just, I've just gotten several phone calls and they just want to know, are we following the state? Are we doing anything for a Christmas Eve type holiday? Just leaving it with the Christmas Day holiday? What you'd like to do?
The courts are shut down on the 26th too.
Correct.
I would assume. Clerk of court will not.
And the DOT for treasurer's office will be down.
That's right.
Yep.
I did get that email. Did you hear all that, Rick?
Yes, so Friday is the 22nd, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so the courthouse would be open on Friday, is that correct?
Yes. Yes,
Okay. But closed on Tuesday, the 26th.
correct. If we follow the state and everybody else.
Sure, yeah. You know, I guess I was opposed to that last time, but it makes sense with the driver's license and the clerk being closed that we just follow suit. So, do you need a motion on that?
Yes, I do.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Second.
To follow suit, is that what it was?
Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, hold on. How are you guys gonna word that? Is that just gonna be a day off? If you put holiday in it, then it,
Then it's time and a half for
oh,
anybody else.
double time and a half for a whole bunch of people. I don't have that in the budget. I would just like the opportunity, or the, whatever day you say it is, we'll just give people 8 hours comp time.
Or you could use it as a floater.
Yeah, they could just use it at their own discretion then. Because if it says holiday, then I gotta pay a whole bunch of people double time and a half.
Does that work with you, Myron?
We were just looking at the calendar here again. No, Christmas is Monday the 25th, so that would be our given holiday for the handbook is Monday the 25th. And so, again, the handbook says that if Christmas Eve was on a half day, would be a half day if it was Monday through Friday. So that's how this discussion started. was if we were giving anything for Christmas Eve. So, yeah, I wasn't necessarily requesting the 26th be holiday pay. It was just, are we doing anything for the 22nd? And then letting you know that certain offices are closed on the 26th, just so we're aware.
Okay, what's the easiest way to make that work, Nancy?
To give the sheriff's department like a floating day. Don't label it as holiday. Because then that, like he said, that makes it double time and a half, and it messes with his budget. But if you either do 8 hours comp or a floating day, that'll work.
Will that work for you, Myra?
Yeah, you'd have the same, not the exact same scenario, but if you called it a holiday, you'd be paying holiday pay
Yep.
if you had to work.
So if there is snow on the 26th, that would be regular pay then, right? That the guys gotta come in and work that day?
If,
Yeah,
depending on how you word
And they can take it
your motion.
right. If there's snow on the 25th, which is a Monday, then
It's
that's
automatic-
holiday
It's
pay.
automatically holiday pay, but the 26th that you're talking about now would be dependent on how you classify the day.
So how did we just vote on that then? We didn't call it a holiday pay, the 26th, did we?
I don't think you got to the vote, he stopped you.
I don't think we voted yet.
We did.
I thought so too.
No?
You just motioned and
So
seconded.
if we just close the courthouse, does that take care of it?
No, then you're opening another can of worms with the other departments, because you've got conservation, transportation, you've got the service center.
There you go. Okay. Yep, I understand. I hate to say it's easier if they just work.
I mean, all you have to say is that union people will be allotted 8 hours comp.
Done.
Got that,
If
Rick?
they work on that.
If they work
Okay.
that day, they get 8 hours
So
comp.
I amend the motion to state that unions would be allowed 8 hours comp time.
Do you
Does
want
it
the,
work that way?
do you want the verbiage in there, if they work that day, they get 8 hours comp?
Yeah, I think that'd be the way to do it.
Okay.
So then it's considered a holiday for everybody else.
No.
No,
So
that
how
word
are
is
we wording it
out.
for everybody else? It's just a day.
I would restart the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be clear, so I'm going to get questions after this.
Extra day?
How is the 26th handled for staff?
But if we just say that all county employees get 8 hours comp time to use at their discretion.
Courthouse gets 7.5 hours. We're
I would
saying,
say they're giving.
All
an
If
extra
they
day.
non-union-
beat in last time, it sure be a hell of a lot easier if I just maintain that course.
What did you
Everybody
say?
work.
Everybody worked.
Just allow people another day off.
Well,
If they want
so-
to take that day, take that day.
Rick, this is Scott Hanson. I'm nobody and I'm one person, but I've already scheduled 2 meetings for that day because it's not a day off. So what's gonna happen with me? I'm gonna work.
You get an extra day
I
off.
think I'm gonna withdraw my motion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take that.
we'll give them the half day on Friday.
You wanna make a motion?
Don't think I
Yeah,
have
just
to,
say-
but I'll withdraw.
No,
There's-
not you, I'm asking Gary.
I would, but
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
don't know exactly how to word it.
I would just call it an extra day off, not holiday, just extra day off. Those that work get a
Comp, according to their hours, whether it's 7.5 or 8.
Does that work for
If you
everybody?
want.
I can make that work. Very easy.
I don't know. We're not always going to have the same things as the court, as the state. We're just not. So, again, the question came to be in that our current handbook talks about Christmas Day. It doesn't say anything about the day after Christmas. So the discussion started with the half-day Christmas Eve. And so we got into the 26th by trying to follow what the state does, but I don't think we always follow what the state does. And if we do, then we should look at, revising all these. I know we did revise one of them based on that, but I don't know. I think when we do the new handbook, I think we need to very clearly define what our holidays are gonna be, so hopefully next year this doesn't happen.
Well, and if you guys need to think about it, you have some time that you could.
Well,
do
that's
it
what
on-
I'm thinking right now. I just, seems like
To stay on schedule, you could just,
if we push it off till
Discuss
next
it
week
later.
and see if we can't come up with some verbiage to make it work.
Okay, yeah, you guys want some time to think about it. People are just calling because they're
Because-
trying to make plans.
yes.
If they have families out of state, that's what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? I don't want them to leave at noon or 2 o'clock and to drive home to get here to get back to work on Monday. I feel bad on that.
But we've all had to do that in the past. We never got anything extra until 2020. So,
Right.
people will make exceptions and take time off regardless of what you do. I'm just saying, you can't accommodate everybody.
No, you can't. I understand that.
And who is that speaking, please?
What's that?
Who is that speaking?
Gina,
Gina?
Okay, thank you. And she's gonna travel.
yep.
Yep.
I've had to take time off for the last 15 years that I've been here, so, we know, it's what the handbook states. We know what's expected.
Yeah.
You can't change it every year.
Well, the Christmas Eve thing is fairly new,
Yeah,
honestly.
so,
Never got it before, half a day
But-
before.
The
not saying I
Christmas
wouldn't love extra time off, I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
free.
it is what it is. You have to, at some point, say, this is what the handbook says, and
Eve- Yeah,
go along with it. We can't just whine and complain and get our way every year and just want more time.
And my concern is if getting it off, claims are paid that day, so.
Yeah, we still have schedules that we have to accommodate, claims are due that day, or have to be paid that day, so what are you gonna do with that? It's a domino effect,
And a board meeting day.
and it's a board meeting day.
So
So,
reasonable accommodation, if people are used to getting a half day on Christmas Eve, do a half day on Monday to allow people to travel back?
Monday's
Monday's
Christmas.
the holiday.
Oh, I mean, on Tuesday then?
but
but
then
I
it would
think if
be,
we're gonna, yeah,
I'm just saying, you guys need to obviously think about it longer, so, but you're already,
Yep, yep.
got other stuff
We're gonna
going on.
table it again, okay. Good times. Okay,
Got that, Rick?
That's fine.
Okay, so,
okay, this one will be quick. I just have a resolution to sign here for a part-time corrections officer to go to full-time, at $21.08 an hour.
Is that for Owen Hanson?
Yep, sorry, Rick, yep, for Owen Hanson.
I'll move that. We move all Hanson to full-time.
I would second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
By resolution?
Yes.
By
Yes.
Oh,
resolution.
it is?
Gary,
All
Gary,
right, Bremer, aye.
Beershake, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Okay, tabling the next one.
Yep.
And then the texting program. So that is, something we're trying to do is, improve communication throughout the county. A lot of times, I send email blasts and not everybody has access to that or easy or quick access to that. And so I've been looking at some texting vendors, different vendors that do this. A lot of companies do this where you can send out, reminder, it's open enrollment, and it's a quick blast, and then employees are, oh shoot, that deadline is coming up, or a reminder, we have a county meeting. You can do birthday, it's Nancy's birthday today, happy birthday Nancy, that sort of thing. And then the most important benefit I see from it is emergency type situations. Like we have our secondary roads guys that are out in remote locations and maybe don't have, are getting email blasts or notification of things if there was bad weather, if there's an active shooter. I talked to some people in a community that had that, suffered that loss last month with that, and a service like this would have been beneficial to say, hey, this is what's going on in Vinton right now, there's an active shooter or whatever it may be. So anyway, then vetting it out, looking at different companies, and our current phone provider, UPD Technologies, does this service. And so they're willing to add that onto our current package that we have with them, and I just wanted to see if the board would be in support of this to improve communication. You will have the opportunity to opt in or opt out, so anybody at any time can say, yes, I want to get these, or no, stop sending me these. It will be totally voluntary. The setup cost is $274.90. That's the upfront one-time fee, and then it's a monthly fee of $24.95 a month. And that's whether you send one text or 500 texts. It doesn't matter, it's unlimited. You can cater them by department, so maybe Myron has something that he wants to get quickly out to all of them. He could say, hey Sue, send this text, blast it out to all my secondary roads guys. Or you can do it, again, countywide, or maybe something just affects the courthouse. So you can kind of cater it by department or by individual, but just a way to keep communication.
So I have a question. Would we need to have secondary roads set up Gmail accounts then, if they're gonna be
Yeah,
text?
that's for the time and attendance system.
Okay.
So why wouldn't department heads be able to do their own blast?
I'd have to look into that and see, they probably could.
For me, as a Benton County taxpayer and a Benton County employee, I don't think it's necessary, in my opinion.
So like if there isn't, say, an active shooter or something bad, and like these secondary roads guys especially, or even the sheriff's department, they're in a remote location, this is rural Iowa, we don't always get service, and you send it out, but they didn't get it because of their service, does that make us liable if they got shot or something?
No.
Scott, are you still able to come across our phone system?
Nope, not at the moment. They have looked at it a couple different times and can't make it work anymore.
Is that since we switched?
So when we saved on the flex spending, that was a savings at about $3,000 a month. And so I was hoping to use part of that savings to try this out. We don't sign a contract, so we can, stop at any time if, we could do a survey in 6 months and ask employees how they're liking it, if they're finding it beneficial, if they feel like it's a nuisance, if they feel like they're getting good communication from it. So you're not locked in or anything, so it's definitely something we could just try for.
Is this a survey we could ask the employees if they would like it on their phones? I mean, before we approve it and.
That's
Well,
what I
you
was
can opt
thinking.
out, she said.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Opt
just
out.
saying, even to start
Yeah,
with.
see how many
why
people are
opt-
interested in it.
Right, I mean, just to see if anybody's interested in the beginning.
Because maybe like the communication might not be bad, but I don't need everybody to know my birthday. I get off Facebook for a reason.
Yeah, so if you'll recall at the county meeting, that was a question you said yes or no to on the emergency contact forms. So people who said no to that wouldn't get that. And
I guess I didn't realize it was gonna go to like everybody in the county, so I might have put yes, thinking it was just you,
right.
not
So you can
everybody.
cater those messages, this would be a personalized message. It would be, it would be, hey Gina, happy birthday, it's your birthday today, just to Gina. All staff messages would be, reminder deadline for open enrollment is next Tuesday. Make sure you get your open enrollment papers in. Reminder, we have a safety meeting Friday the 10th. Be sure to be there. So again, there'd be private messages or there'd be countywide ones.
I know from, right now from secondary roads, because of remote locations, some of those deadlines, if we're reminded of, we might contact, or we might communicate during daily check-in, check-out processes, but a lot of the messages right now that are being sent to county employees are stuffers in paychecks. And a lot of my employees with the direct deposit get that envelope in the mailbox, but maybe once every 6 months, so they actually open them up and look inside the envelope. So most all of the employees have a phone on them that, you know, that message would be added communication that they're seeing more readily and more quickly than the payroll stuffers that we're currently doing.
I have heard from a few of them that have said that they would like that. Like, you know, we're doing the holiday bingo, the adopt a family, and I have to work with Deb on how we get the information out to the sheds and that sort of thing. So I do know of at least a few that have said, yeah, that'd be great. So I kind of talked a little bit to different people just to kind of get some feedback.
Let me do some asking for the county employees, see what kind of interest there is. Me, I want to think about it before we jump into it. Okay? I'll get back to you when I kind of figure out what I'm on the fence either way. All right?
Is there going to be any communication, better communication to all the county maintainers or maintainer operators once we get these towers? Will there be any communication through the towers?
I would hope that when all the towers are up and operational, that the two-way radio system that we would update in all of the vehicles would have better coverage than we currently have with our two-way radios.
But I would doubt you're gonna put over the two-way radio a reminder to sign up for a program. So I'm not sure what, good that is with that. The texting seems like a good idea to me, relatively inexpensive. Myron pointed out that pretty well everybody's got a phone. So I don't have a problem with doing a survey and circling back around to this, but I don't want to see it drag out.
Okay?
Yeah, I can do a survey.
Okay. All right. Scott, we're behind times.
That's all right. Morning. So Scott Hansen, Emergency Management. As you all should be aware by now, I'm planning my retirement for the end of June in 2024. I will be 9 months short of age 65 for Medicare eligible, so I'm looking at options for the health insurance fill-in for those 9 months. So obviously I know the county has that early retirement program still in place, implemented in 2010 and then redone again in 2012, that offers some pay towards the cost of an insurance plan. That cost has not changed since it was implemented in 2010. It was implemented at $425 towards the cost of insurance. It's hard to go back and do research. I've done as much as I can to try to figure out what that was based on. Back in 2010, based on the budget amount of what health insurance costs, it looks like that was either the entire amount of a single plan or most of a single plan. And I'm not sure even at that time if the county was still paying the full amount of a single plan or not. But my whole point on that is, it's been 13 years since that amount was established. It's never changed. So technically, the only people who got the full benefit were the first people who used it. So I'm just asking you if you would at least take a look at it and see if it's time to make some adjustments to the amount that's going to be paid towards the cost of insurance.
I have that with me if you want to see it.
Sure. Which one?
The retirement plan.
I got it.
Okay.
And the last time that was revisited was in 12, wasn't it?
Correct.
In 2012, they changed it from 15 years of employment to 20. That was the only change they made in 2012 that I can see. Excuse me, the amount stayed the same and the other parameters stayed the same, that you had to be on the county insurance and age 58 to 64.
What was the premium back then? And
See, that's what we can't,
We can go back and look probably
We've been
somewhere.
looking.
we've been looking, but it's hard to tell what, we can tell what the total cost of insurance was, but we don't know what the split was between the county budget and the employee. Unless I would have kept paycheck stubs, that would be the only way I would know, and I'm not that geeky. I'm close.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
I bet we could find out from Isaac what that premium was back then, for sure.
Okay, but like I said, because I don't know, because it references it will pay the cost, pay up to 425 of the cost. So that leads me to believe there was a difference even in the single plan, but my brain's telling me that that was just for the future, that put that language in there for the future, and that at that time, the cost of a single plan had to be close to that as far as,
see, that's what I want to find out, how much
Yeah.
percent plan was back in 12,
Right.
and we can kind of go what percentage.
that'd be the fair way,
Correct.
yes.
So I'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Happy with that?
Yeah, yeah, it's just a request to look
Can you
at
put
it.
that back on the schedule then?
Yeah, it'll take a little bit to,
I think we should be able to find that pretty
you
fairly
think
easy.
so? Okay.
Because I would probably be in the old minutes, because they would approve the,
We looked.
am I 12? We'll find it, I'm sure we will.
Yeah, it's just a request to look at it, thank you.
How about put that on the docket for the 19th?
Okay.
Make a note. I'll give you 2 weeks. All right, what's next? Shelby?
Yeah. Okay. As I think you're aware, we received some tribal funding, the county did. It's the Tribal Consistency Fund. And looking at our Wildcat Bluff Recreation Area project and the historical mounds that are there, I was going to suggest that we earmark those funds for that project specifically. And we have some local tribes that are interested in coming and doing surveys. So utilizing that funding for that and for the acquisition project itself. Having read through the, however many pages, 22 pages between the two, of documentation, we're a shoe-in for our site with the burial mounds, so. And it would be good use of the funding.
Is this different from that tribal grant that you got?
No, that is that additional 100,000 that I applied for. We got 50,000 last year, 50,000 this year, but it was more specific to use for tribal stuff. So, right now it's currently within the ARPA fund.
So
Because it was,
there's a chance you could actually get more funding?
could it be used for grant matching too, right?
Yeah, it can be used for grant matching, which would be the point. So if we can earmark it for us now, we can say, hey, we got this additional, and it would show that the county's matching so much.
So you want to earmark it for purchasing the property or the bathrooms?
No, not the bathrooms,
Okay.
two separate things, yeah, that'd be
Okay,
for the
okay.
property. And if it would work, sorry, I'm like yelling in your.
Yeah, no, no, that's great.
And if it would work, for the surveys done by the tribes, because they need paid for those, but ideally we would have a survey done by, local tribes. I've reached out to all 26 that would be potentially in this area, and I've heard back from 3 of interest, and they'd like to bring elders down and, take a look at the site. So it's pretty awesome opportunity for Benton County to have the potential to have some really good, like, background history and support from tribes, so. To utilize it, basically, that's why I'm saying the Wildcat project, so then that way it's anything encompassing we can use for that.
Okay.
How many did you say we had, tribes?
I reached out to 26 individual tribes.
Because when we did the watershed, I had to reach out, there was like a list of 7 that I had to do it consecutively, so
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I'm working with the state office.
How much is the, if I may, how much is this grant?
100,000,
Yeah.
50,000 a year,
Well, it's,
right?
right now, we're capped at 100,000 is what we've gotten. I don't know if there's more that we can continue to apply for, but,
Like, if we show we're spending it,
Yeah.
if you can get
yeah.
more.
We have had no activity, so,
Okay.
but it's already in our fund right now.
Basically asking for, yeah, spending authority for us for that earmark, however the wording would be.
Yeah, because I figured we would do the ARPA committee, but I told her to come and talk to you guys to see what your thoughts were.
And the ARPA committee is the one who suggested that it go to Wildcat, but
Yeah.
that's why I'm here, is to get that ball rolling before we run out of time. Because it'll be summer before we know it, and we'll be swamped, so.
How much more is available?
More is available for what?
You said you could get more money if,
We don't know if we can get more money into the fund if we spend some, but then we can utilize this as a grant match when applying for additional grants.
okay.
So it just,
If it were to come up, we would obviously apply for more, but
Yeah.
usually we get notifications.
Is there a timeline that this has to be spent?
Yes.
yes.
I think it's similar to the ARPA 2026, I think.
So we got a
it
long
is.
ways to go yet.
Couple years, well, fiscal years.
Well, and hopefully we'll be done by the end of December 2024. That's what we're going for, so.
I have no problem with it.
I have no problem with it.
So how do you want that stated then? Do you want to earmark the tribal
For the Wildcat
money?
Club Recreation,
I would authorize committing that 100,000
Thank you.
funds
Okay,
to that.
I'll move
Yeah.
that. We commit this to
to
the
the project.
tribal fund.
okay. That's your motion, right?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that then.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Awesome, thank you.
Myron?
We don't jump into that, or you want to wait 10 minutes?
No, we got 10 minutes, don't we?
I don't care.
You're right. I was thinking we were behind. We got ahead now.
We'll do some reports. I will report on one.
Good.
Judy Hamacher called me, so I attended Friday's Heartland Insurance meeting, which was the holiday party. So it was very nice. They reported, we had Carl was there, like the pipelines and stuff. If they do, he just suggested if anything were to come about, which, how we had that one and then they backed up. We're just not supposed to do anything on that. He just said, take no action, that way you're not in trouble. And then they just kind of went over another policy, like when we can use outside counsel type stuff, so. It was a good meeting, Nancy attended. I know Myron was at the safety part.
With Holmes Murphy now doing the safety and liability standpoint instead of Gallagher, they have changed how they do the safety awards a little bit. It was just, Benton County received a plaque for the automobile liability aspect of having the lowest incidences, I think, for the year. And I meant to bring that with me this morning. I picked that up on Ben County's behalf, and it's sitting on my file cabinet that you can hang on the wall somewhere here in the supervisor's room probably.
Yeah, and we got our driving record, thumb drive back too. And then they just reminded us too, when we appoint our new trustees, it has to be an auditor or supervisor. But they're encouraging more auditors, but I do not want to take on that fiscal agent role with Hartman. We'll leave that with the other county.
Say that again.
The trustees that we appoint at the first of the year,
Yeah?
Rick and I, Rick's the trustee and I'm the alternate,
Oh,
so,
okay, for Heartland.
yes.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
thinking
she was just
township
reminded of,
trustees.
yeah, I think she was feeling me out to be more of a trustee acting on like fiscal stuff, so we'll see. So I'm just passing that on.
Gary, you got any reports?
We had our meeting last week with, can't think of it right now. Anyway, those funds that are moved toward next year, have you got the information about that yet?
Which funds are you talking about?
Well,
Mental health or?
we send the funds early, and then they're in place before the first of the year.
Are you talking about mental health though? How they prepay us quarterly? Yeah. I wasn't sure which fund you're talking about.
And you got that all?
Well, what we do is we give them estimates, like quarterly reports, and then they pay us so that we're not, since we don't have a levying fund for that right now, that way we always have that cushion to act on.
Okay.
Is that, if that's what you're talking about?
But next year, they're not gonna come till after the 1st of July.
Right, yep. Which we had a little cushion this last fiscal, so we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye on that though.
Well, there's a good chance they'll come like the 3rd or the 5th.
Oh.
They'll be right after the 1st. But
So it
it's
probably
gonna-
just depends on when our payrolls and stuff are, we'll have to look at that.
Yeah, it's gonna make our bookkeeping a lot easier because then we're not dealing with 2 years.
Yep, and we work closely with Deb Guard with that.
Okay.
The hub, the access center, and the mental health are both.
Okay. Well, we had, well, that's really the only thing that we had a question about. Long meeting.
Sounds like it. Because you guys had to do your accruals, finalize all that too, didn't you?
Well, she reported on it. I mean, everything's good.
Yeah, we had to have those turned in by August.
That's all I had.
Rick, you got anything?
I do not. It was gonna be the Heartland meeting, but obviously, it wasn't there.
Okay. I don't either. I guess this week we got, gonna test the radio systems out, right, guys?
Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, at Raycom, not in Benton County.
Yep, in Marshalltown. Okay.
So what does that mean for timeline for getting?
I'll be retired before we use it.
No, seriously?
I'm confident, I'm confident.
Yeah, they're 6 months behind,
Okay.
so,
Okay.
but I'm not bitter about it.
Okay, no, good enough.
Maybe a little.
Maybe.
All those change orders.
He can always postpone retirement another.
Yeah. it's
That's right.
And then you have to worry about the Medicare plan.
It'd be better to go the end of December, IPERS wise.
Yeah, exactly.
He's already
Keep
over.
So much help.
I got enough, I can live in a cardboard box, I'm good.
Try.
Bring the park in.
It's not gonna
Yeah, you
work.
might need
It's
some.
not gonna work twice. It won't work once.
Yeah.
I haven't Another thing, Shelby and Myron, since you're both here, that Northern Natural Gas,
Yes.
are you guys okay if I put that on the agenda? They sent me an attachment to get to the temporary soil bore access agreement.
So.
They want it before
I-
December.
I approved the bore because it's in the middle of our prairie, so I figured that was no problem, but they wanted right-of-way road access, and I told them I would not approve that that had to come from you.
Did they contact you at all? Okay,
No,
I'll forward you
I'm
that.
confounded because I'm not sure I know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Okay.
she made it sound like she talked to you, so I will forward you the stuff I got, but this is the.
And one of the ones she sent me said Wisconsin was one of their.
Yeah, she fixed it.
Okay, she did, she said you knew one. Okay.
I told them that had to come through
I was
you
like, oh,
usually.
I'm not gonna sign this. You gotta read the fine print, right?
Yeah. Just sometime before the end of the month is what I took it as. I'll forward you that right now, Myra.
No, she has not contacted me.
Okay, I'll send it to you right now.
We're not gonna get it done like very soon, but I wasn't gonna give them the road access.
It's from Alexis Johnson, that's her name.
Yes.
Nothing.
What?
You hear something?
It's the clock. Yep, I can hear it over there too.
Sounds like water dripping.
Mhm.
Close enough. I don't care. Alliant Energy has requested a utility permit to bury conduit for fiber line across Benton County. They're tying in some substations, proposing to enter from Tama County off of Highway 21 on 71st Street, 71st Street over to 12th Avenue, 12th Avenue up to, excuse me, I said 71st, 72nd to 70th, which is the pavement there, east, just north of Keystone, through Van across 218, north Newhall to 29th, south on 29th, 2 miles to 74th, mile east over 30th, 30th south to 76th, 76th east 32nd, 32nd south to 77th Street Drive, and then 77th Street Drive or Trail east to Lynn County. It affects those 5 townships that I mentioned on the agenda, Kane, Union, El Dorado, Fremont, and Florence Township. They've got to follow the same procedure as the phone company would with burying fiber, the depth, and all of the procedures on burying it. They're looking at putting it in the ditch bottom on all of those segments, rock and pavement.
Can I see the map?
See, I need the back, I guess, here. We'll be on the south side, east side, north side there until you get to there, just west of Van Horn, switch to the south side, go through Van Horn, stay on the south side. Go through that little curved intersection, on the south side, and then on the west side going south. Swapping right there at the substation from one side to the other, about 76, over down the road.
This is just a fiber optic line?
Correct.
It's
Just 1 inch conduit there, bearing on it.
They gonna plow that in? Or you don't know?
They're proposing both plowing and boring. They do have some private easements along some of this, and they'll be in some of the private right away from the outside, private side of the fence versus the right away side where they can use that. But certainly all of the streams, waterway crossings would be bored. All the driveways would be bored, which are all part of our policy on our utility plan.
The north of Newhall here, you're gonna put them box culverts in next year, right?
That's the thought and plan.
They'll have to stay away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You want to look at it here? I got an idea if it all stays in the right of way. Except for a little bit worse.
I know there's some spots up here along the pavement, I think around Van Horn area, that when I looked at their detailed map, they had some private easements going in those easements on the property side, the ownership side of the flat, on that fence line versus in their love right away.
There been any other easements? There are other easements. Are they gonna interfere with this line at all?
If they're an electric, or I don't know what those easements are, but I would assume that those easements that they're talking about would apply to this fiber line tying into their electrical substations.
Yeah, there's,
Because I know line's got some gas line that runs along that 70th Avenue pave, or 70th Street pavement, because I've run into that a couple times with some construction projects. As well as over
Private, yeah, that's private.
Some of that's in private.
Yeah, if you got the water line.
You got Powashik Water that's
Yep,
in that
that's
area,
16
and that's all they
lane.
got an easement for being on
Private.
private property.
Yeah.
okay.
But that's the route they're taking and asking the county's permission to put it in where it's gonna be in the road right away. It's similar to, I think the gas company not too long ago did the same thing with tying their substations in with fiber optic line. They have no reason to deny it at this point, but we do take utility permits through board action.
Okay.
Move we approve it.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, public interest comments. may be limited to 3 minutes. Anybody got anything?
I'm Dana Sanders. Thank you for hearing from me for a few minutes. I just had a couple of clarity points I wanted to ask about with the Benton County Employee Handbook, which it does state elected officials have certain provisions they're subject to, so I was just kind of focusing on a couple of those. Within it,
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
is that better?
Yep.
So, within that handbook, which certain parts you're subjected to, just wanted to get clarification on, with like the anti-harassment, including, harassment, retaliation, things like that, preventing harassment of various sorts, and then, the conduct and just how that's handled discipline-wise, as well as, there's another handbook that appears to be relevant called the Manual for County Supervisors of Iowa. That one was updated January 2023. And the one I'm speaking about with Benton County it says as a 2022 version. Just wanted to clarify in the interest of transparency and accountability, kind of what's going to happen with insurance premiums as, there's been some settlements in that. I mean, does that go up? How does that get handled? And then also, how are you in compliance? Just, are you taking any certain protocols to be in compliance with those? Because I know in the Iowa County one, it also lists things for like open meetings, closed meetings, and so on. So just getting on the same page, I guess. Like I said, in the interest of transparency and accountability. How are you working to be in compliance? Are you taking disciplinary actions when there are violations? And then, just what happens with the insurance premiums? Just so we all know. Thank you.
Rick, can you comment on that since you're on that board?
I don't know how the insurance works regarding, the past settlement. Judy Hamaker has indicated that it should not affect county premiums by much. So that is, I'm getting it from her, obviously. We won't know until we get actually there next year and then see what very much is. Okay? So I do know that the handbook is currently with a committee, and that's going through a review process, and hopefully that will be coming up here in the next calendar year for, new updates, etc. So these are things that we'll be all looking at.
With the insurance, you said very much, and I know you don't know yet, but does that then
I have
get
no clue
offset
on
to
that.
this?
What's very much, when they say not very much, is not very much $10 or is it 10,000? I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, I obviously don't know, and they couldn't give me an answer at that point because I did ask that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
To piggyback off that, she asked about when there are violations of the employee handbook, how is that being followed, and is that transparent to the citizens?
And can I ask who's
This is
talking,
Maggie
please?
Mangold.
Maggie Mangold.
Okay, all right, we need people to, especially with me, everything's kind of a blur on this little.
Yeah, that's fair, Rick. Yeah, thanks.
So,
Dana asked
okay.
about transparency when the handbook is not followed. Can you expand on that?
I think she was asking like protocol for disciplinary actions, and just procedure.
She was asking specifically about the supervisors, or?
Or even anybody, but
Okay.
including the supervisors, for the provisions that apply to them.
Well, if I can interject there, supervisors as well as many county offices are elected officials, okay?
It does state that
And
elected
so-
officials will follow certain provisions, that's what I was meaning.
What do you think?
I can't do that.
Okay. It does state that there's certain provisions elected officials are subjected to, so I was just focusing on those. for you guys? I
We
mean?
do all still have to participate in like our harassment training and that yearly with our insurance providers. They usually come and present that to all of us, so
Okay.
everybody has taken those.
So with regards to any disciplinary action, if an employee violated the handbook, that would be confidential as part of the employee's personnel record. That wouldn't be shared for the privacy of the employee if they had any violations of the handbook.
But there's procedure in place for everybody that's impacted by that, whatever the violation is, so to speak. It's just that it's not shared. Is that correct? I'm just for clarity.
Well, if you refer to section, I mean, we don't have a step 1, step 2, step 3 discipline per se. It looks like it's section 611, employee conduct. And then we have a discipline section. I mean, it says how we have warning, suspension, termination, but then at the top it says, you know, depending on the severity of the matter, we don't necessarily have to go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. If something was really egregious, we may, you know, not issue a verbal warning. So we kind of just take it in context of what the situation is, but this is the general outline of how we would follow that, that employees would be held to.
Thank you.
Any more comments? Okay.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Rick.